Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is June the 1st, 2025. Hopefully, this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. We had a good Sunday. It was a fun day. We started off, we can just kind of just get right into the blogging. We started off pretty much just doing some grocery shopping. This is the second time back to back where I wake up, from, having a, party hardy situation. And I'm just like, you know what? It's close enough in the timing. I can just go from Northside to the store and then we're good to go. We're starting off our day right. And that's what I did. So that was good just to kind of get in where I fit in, get my groceries, get out of there. Then I took another siesta, another rest. And I think I got up around maybe 12 o'clock. So, in a weird way, we're still having the same day. I'm still going through it a little bit slower, a little bit later. But just knocking out the groceries before I take my second sleep is so nice. It's and definitely just dodging any of the traffic of a weekend grocery experience. It's always good. So happy for that. After we get up, we go to the gym. Gym was it was a good gym session. Another heavy lift day. I'm glad that my body was able to cooperate for over the 3 days. And, I know I was giving myself a lot of guff, a lot of stress for not having the best lift on Friday. But I would say the 3 days really did culminate into something nice. And I feel like I'm not too sore. I'm not too banged up. So that's really good for going into the weekend. I'm happy about that. Or going into the weekday, whatever. You know what I mean? Going into Monday feels good. So yeah, that's been Sunday up into this point pretty much. What did we do last night? Well, last night, the classic Northside situation. Got to hang out with the homies. It was cool. I wound up going to see Lung, the band. I would definitely recommend them. It was my first time getting to see them live. My friends had worked on one of their music videos and did a really good job. So I got to see that before. So I was like, all right, I'm definitely interested. If we're going to this, I'm down. So I got to see them. It was good. It was nice too because their music, and this is maybe going to sound counterintuitive, but their music at certain points at times made me feel anxious, but in a good way. It was really hype and it was just a really good sound. So yeah, a lot going on. I definitely would recommend them. So yeah, I mean, outside of that and some bar hopping, pretty classic Northside night, let's see here. Food corner. It was Chameleon. We had our 3 slices of pizza. I'm definitely just getting to the point where I can't remember the names of or all the ingredients and stuff on all the pizzas. But we had our classic pepperoni. We had our veg. I would say the standout ingredient there was definitely the I think it was broccoli. And that one might have had the carrot pesto on it, which I gotta say, carrot pesto, if I could find that in a jar, I would definitely cop it. It was very yummy. And then there was another pizza. I think it had some radish on it or something. I think that was a Bianca one, which had the white cheese. But of course, each 3 were good. Now I zhuzhed it up. I added a little bit of some extra on the side. I got cheese sticks. I was fiending some cheese sticks all week, and they definitely did not disappoint. Don't you love when you get your first bite into a cheese stick? And you just get that pull. You get that classic cheese pull. You gotta wrap it around. It's so satisfying. It's so good. It's so yummy. So overall, had some good eats. Oh, and then we closed out the night. By the time we hit all the bars, we closed out with this big bowl of chicken poppers, little chicken popper situation, and then some pierogies. So that was nice. And the sauce my homie made was super good. He made 2 sauces. One was I want to say a barbecue-y kind of one, and the other one was kind of a honey mustard situation with this I think Japanese mayo. It was chef's kiss. It was good. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Um, so yeah, I mean that was all the eats. That was all the the drinks. So I didn't say all the drinks. We drank a good amount. And then there was a moment where I tried to get my friend to drink a tequila shot with me, and he didn't. But then another homie stepped in, and that was fine. It was cool. Crisis averted. I was only a little sad. But yeah, overall, a lot of fun times had. Anyway, that's pretty much all the blogging for today. Let's go ahead and do our newsy roll call because it's time. It's the first of the month. All right. First one, Stephanie Renee, Edward Haas, Mama Bear, Aaron Walden. And then, of course, we got our secret benefactor, our silent donor, but they know who they are. Anyway, thank you so much for, your donation. Thank you so much for being a newsie. I appreciate you being along for this ride, not just in the sense of saying, hey, I'm going to tune in, but also like your monthly support. Like it's not nothing. Like it is like maybe a cup of coffee, but to know that like people like actually give a shit and they're like, no, dude, you deserve a little bit. You deserve a little kickback for doing this every day. It really does warm my heart. And I really just appreciate you hanging out with me and, being with the ups and the downs of it all. Anyway, let's go ahead and do our startup and we will get into some news. Oh, I have recently gotten into this habit. I think it's a good habit, even though I have allergies to cats. I'm petting the cats now. I'm back on petting cats because I like it. And I think that they like getting the pets. It's nice. It's a nice little symbiosis. I feel like they're a little surprised to see me because I'm normally like, not really like interacting with them. I'm playing hard to get. But then I start giving them scrunches and they're like, oh, okay. All right. Okay. So yeah, that's been nice. It's been good. I will say, you do have the moments where your allergies just like hit full peak and you're just sneezing and you're trying to just be chill at the function. But it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. We're netting net positive. So anyway. Ooh, okie dokie. First story comes from ABC News. At least 31 killed by Israeli gunfire near Gaza aid site, health ministry says. At least 31 people were killed and more than 200 people were injured. Israeli forces opened fire near an aid distribution site to the west of Rafah in the southern Gaza Strip on Sunday, according to the health ministry in the Hamas-run territory. In a statement posted to X, the Israeli Defense Forces said, at this stage, there are no known casualties from the IDF gunfire within the site. The matter is still under investigation. Local witnesses cited by the Associated Press suggested that the shooting occurred around 1,000 yards from the aid site, which is run by the U.S. and Israeli-backed Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, or GHF. Israeli military officials said later Sunday that IDF troops acted to prevent several suspects from approaching troops overnight, about a kilometer away from the Rafah aid distribution site. They further said that warning shots were fired toward several suspects who advanced toward the troops. In an official statement, the IDF said it did not fire on civilians while they were near or within the humanitarian aid distribution site. Yeah, that's very tactfully worded. And y'all know that it is very hard for me to take the IDF at their word when they say these kind of things. Obviously, it's very unfortunate that this is continuing to happen day after day. When all people are trying to do is just make it to the next day and feed themselves and their family. And they shouldn't have to go through all this fucking shit just to do that. That goes without saying. But we're going to move on to our next story from the BBC. Ukraine drones emerge from trucks before strikes on bombers during major attack in Russia. Ukraine claims to have left more than 40 Russian bomber planes burning in a large-scale drone attack. Drones that attacked a military base in Shredny, I'm sure I'm getting that wrong, Shredny, Siberia, were launched from trucks. The Irkutsk, sure, we're gonna say that's the word. Governor says Operation Spider's Web took 1 year and a half to organize and has been overseen by Ukraine's President Zelensky, according to his country's security service. Zelensky says he's instructed the security service to release details of the operation to the public and says these are Ukrainian actions that will undoubtedly be in the history books. Ukraine has conducted audacious attacks on Russia before, but this is a new level. Our diplomatic correspondent Paul Adams writes from Kyiv. Russian Defense Ministry says Ukraine carried out a terrorist attack in 5 regions, but says the attacks were repelled. So yeah, that was a bit of a development over the weekend coming out of Ukraine, coming out of Russia. Though that being said, is this going to tip the scales much? Probably not. I don't think this is going to change anything in terms of the land. I don't think it's going to change anything in terms of current ceasefire negotiations. And I feel like I should put some quotations around that, those negotiations. But, big development all the same. So I figured we'd cover that and go ahead and roll on. Our next story is coming out of France. Reuters, 2 dead and 500 arrested in France during PSG win celebrations. More than 500 people were arrested by police during the Champions League final celebrations in France, and 2 people were reported dead and 192 injured. The Interior Ministry said as further festivities were planned on Sunday. Wild celebrations erupted across the French capital and beyond on Saturday night after Paris Saint-Germain crushed Italian opponents Inter Milan to win the Champions League for the first time. Oops, sorry, I bumped the mic. The Interior Ministry's provisional assessment on Sunday morning was that 559 people had been arrested, including 491 in Paris, which led to 300 people being placed in police custody. 254 of them in Paris. There was one fatal accident when a young man in his 20s died in a collision with a vehicle. Police Chief Laurent Nunez told reporters, while in the southwestern city of Dax, a 17-year-old died from stab wounds. A judicial investigation will determine whether or not the fatality in Paris can be linked to the celebrations. At this stage, it appears to be connected to the festivities, Nunez says. Let's see, going a little bit more of the extent of the damage. The Interior Ministry on Sunday reported hundreds of fires, including more than 200 vehicles burned. Some 22 members of the security forces and 7 firefighters were harmed. Nunez warned that more skirmishes could occur on Sunday as PSG will parade on the Champs Elysees, I think it's Elysee, before celebrating the title with their fans at the Parc des Princes Stadium. We're at halftime, so to speak. At this afternoon, we have the parade taking place at the Champs Elysees, Nunez said. Only those attending the parade will be allowed on the site. A maximum attendance of just over 100,000 people has been set. Beyond that, no one else will be allowed in. So there's a little bit more details there, but it's unfortunate when you have a sports celebration or any kind of like situation like this where it's like, yeah, this is super cool and people are happy to see, their team win or whatever, and it gets really rockets, it gets really crazy. I don't have any problem with that. I don't think anyone really does. I mean, it can be inconvenient for traffic and but it's a shame, it's unfortunate when things escalate to such a level that you come out and your car is fucked up, or you come out and like people are getting like harassed or fucked up, and then the police come out and it's a whole fucking thing. Like, you never want to see this shit happen, obviously going all the way up to people losing their life. That fucking sucks. But I mean, maybe not to sound jaded, but this is something that, in America, we do see situations like this a good amount when, someone wins a Super Bowl or, world championship, whatever. It's like, oh yeah, we're flooding the streets. We're going crazy in Philly, whatever, So, I mean, these things happen. Hopefully, they happen less and they're less severe, and, hopefully no one has to die over celebrating, that shit is crazy. But we have one more story that I wanted to cover. It was some breaking news, so we don't have all of the details. But let's go ahead and do our last break, and we'll go ahead and close it out. Also, I sometimes have to apologize. I never know if like the background of like the kids and stuff or the doggies or whatever, if you're gonna catch that background noise, sometimes you are, in a perfect world, this would be in a nice secluded studio far away from the world. But it's not. It's just me in my room, yapping to the world. Anyway, let's take our last break. Ooh. Mm. Okay. From CBS News. Attack at Boulder's Pearl Street Mall in Colorado burned several people, police say. Suspect in custody. Excuse me. Ooh. Colorado police are responding to what they called an attack at Boulder's Pearl Street Mall that left multiple people injured. Authorities said the violent incident happened at 1:26 p.m. at 13th Street and Pearl Street on Sunday afternoon. Police asked everyone to avoid the area while first responders worked the scene. Boulder police said officers are evacuating the 1200, 1300, and 1400 blocks of Pearl Street between Walnut and Pine as they investigate what happened. Please avoid this area, the department tweeted at 3:08 p.m. In a press conference at 4 p.m., police said the scene is not yet safe and they have a vehicle of interest. Authorities said a suspect has been taken into custody. They said that multiple people were injured and taken to a local hospital, some of which have since been transferred to other hospitals. Boulder police believe some of those injuries may be life-threatening. Witnesses at the scene told CBS Colorado that the suspect attacked people with Molotov cocktails who were participating in a walk to remember the Israeli hostages who remain in Gaza. FBI Director Kash Patel and FBI Director Dan Bongino described the incident as a terrorist attack and said around 3:30 p.m. the FBI agents are at the scene. Boulder police said the attack is under investigation and are working to determine if that is the case, and that it is too early to speculate on the attacker's motive. We'll see what comes out of this. Obviously, there's going to be more details and stuff that's going to get fleshed out either, tomorrow as the week rolls on. But unfortunate that this happened. That's sad, scary, whatever. Which really sucks because it's like I didn't say this at the top of the episode, but happy Pride Month. I know it's Pride Month, so we got to celebrate that and say, hey, what's up? But goddamn, it's crazy out there. Be careful. I really don't actually have anything to add as we close out. Like I said, I'm sure we will be back to this story, and maybe I can kind of come up with more of an opinion. But I don't like to really yap out, from the hip like that, on some news that just hit. Anyway, so that is where we'll leave it for today. I don't have anything to shill because it is indeed Sunday. So thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.